This is what I'm cooking on this one. Absolutely delicious. Wait till you try it. I believe I have everything ready here. I'm getting ready to put together one of my easy weeknight meals. These are the meals that I put together that are just quick and kind of thrown together with whatever we have in the kitchen. And that's why I want to show you these. These are the items that I have over the years come up with that just make cooking on weeknights easy, but you still get fresh ingredients. And that's what this is. This is a great recipe. This is going to be a chicken pesto pasta, and it is absolutely delicious. When you combine these ingredients the right way, get them cooked up the right way, oh, it is fantastic. So what we're gonna do is make some grilled chicken. We're gonna boil the pasta, and I've got a special way of cooking up these little guys right here. I've got some wonderful Brussels sprouts. Those Brussels sprouts, just wait till you taste them. These are gonna be the kind of Brussels that are nice and pan-seared, caramelized on the outside, but at the same time, they're not hard or tough. They're tender, easy to bite into. You can cut it in half with a fork. So folks, excellent Brussels we're about to do, and wonderful tasting dish here. This is going to be a grilled dish. Now before we get into this, I'd like to mention, please, take a look at my website. The link for that's right down in the description box, and that's where my recipes are, okay, for Texas Cooking Today, PDF recipes. I also have other merchandise there, shirts, caps, aprons, and other goodies. So please take a look at that. Neat things, and right now we got neat things right here. So come and take a look at these ingredients, and we're gonna get busy cooking up some delicious chicken pesto pasta. Now this is a fairly easy recipe. What we're gonna do is take this chicken here, we're gonna season it up with our seasonings here, lemon, pepper, and salt, and I'm gonna grill that. I'm gonna be cooking up these wonderful Brussels, and we're gonna season those with some salt, onion powder, and garlic powder. And when it comes to the pasta, we're gonna boil that up. Once we get it boiled up, we're gonna use some of this olive oil and some of this pesto sauce. After we slice this into some pieces, we're going to toss all of that together. Beautiful stuff. This is a delicious dish, and I think when you try it, you're gonna love it. So we have chicken, salt, pesto, peanut oil, lemon pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, penne pasta, and some Brussels sprouts. The chicken cuts, pick whatever cut you want. I'm just using some thighs. That's what we had frozen, and I'm letting them thaw out there, and I use that paper towel just to catch the extra moisture. These are ready to be seasoned and cooked up. Now I've got one pot here that I'm going to put my Brussels in. I'm just getting everything ready to go. I'll be adding some water on top of this. I'll be putting hot water in here, and I only need about a ½ inch. Then I'll cover this, bring it to a boil, and these take about 12 to 15 minutes in simmering them. Now we do this par cook to pre-cook these so that they don't come out tough. They're gonna be nice and tender. I have water over here that's just now come to a boil. I started this right before I started my setup here, and that way I've already got things going on that. Right now I'm going to go out and turn on my grill and preheat that sucker. It takes on average, on my grill, it takes on average of about 12 to 15 minutes to preheat it. So my cook time on these, including all of the searing, is usually between 30 and 35 minutes. And on the pasta, it takes about 10 minutes, maybe 11 minutes to cook that up. But the pasta will hold, okay? Once we've cooked it and drained it, I can toss it with a little bit of olive oil and it will hold just fine. The chicken and the cook is going to take about 8 to 12 minutes, depending on the grill, how hot it is, and you know, a few variables there. So the whole meal, we're looking at about 35-40 minutes total time. Now I'm going to go start my grill right now. Okay, I have lit my grill, and I'm about to put water in these. I've got my timer here, and as soon as I turn this on, we're going to start our timer. Okay, to this pan I've added about 1/2 inch of water there. We'll put a lid on this. We'll bring it up to a boil. There we are. Now we'll start the timer. And this is a count up timer, so it's going to give us some good information on cooking a meal like this. And as I've said in the past, you know, a lot of times this is about timing. So what I'm looking for here is just basic salt and pepper kind of thing. A lot of times when it comes to grilling, I like to use a seasoned pepper. Okay, in fact, not a lot of times, almost all of the time. Okay, now sometimes I like that seasoning to be a little different. This time, I'm going to be using what's called lemon pepper. Don't know if you've ever used it, but it's got a lemon seasoning in it that is really good, especially things like chicken. There we go. I'm going to do this on both sides and then get it out there on the grill and get it cooking as soon as that grill is up and good and hot. Something I wanted to mention about using a jarred pesto if you're not making your own. Pesto sauces are made with basil and usually olive oil and pine nuts and garlic, and it's usually pressed out. If you do it at home, it's done in a mortar and pestle a lot of times, and once it's pressed out and turned into this beautiful sauce, you get these beautiful flavors that are inside of it, all the things I just mentioned. But it separates. There is going to be serious separating on your sauce when you get it. So go ahead and put a spoon into it and get it stirred up before you use it. Because a lot of times you don't use the entire jar of pesto, and you don't want it to be an imbalance in your flavors. Now, these have come to a boil. I went ahead and put a lid on it, and you want to cook these covered once they come to a boil for 12 to 15 minutes. Now, how do you know how long to cook them? You put a fork in it, folks. If you push a fork in it and it's tender, they're cooked. If they're hard, you need to cook them some more, right? All right, now look at my timer. It has just turned over 10 minutes just now, and so what we're going to do is start our pasta. Now I'm going to start with a little salt in there. Watch out when you do that. You can get a violent reaction just like I did. I'm going to go ahead and pour in my pasta. And then always give it a stir, folks. One thing I can say is pasta will stick together if you just pour it in a pot and let it sit there. So give it a stir, and then in a moment stir it yet again, okay? And that'll keep that from sticking. Now once it starts boiling and cooking, it'll be fine. We started it right about 10 minutes, so we'll be taking this off at about 21 minutes, okay? I have my grill all heated up. Let me get out of my light source here so you can see what we're doing. I'm just gonna get my chicken right up there. All right, I'm gonna let it cook. And that's gonna be about 4 to 5 minutes per side on that chicken. It'll come out absolutely wonderful. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh yeah. Okay, we are at 16 minutes now since we started our timer. I want to check my Brussels. They've just been in here doing their thing. Okay, I can push a fork into it fairly easy. It's still pretty firm. So I'm going to give those a few more minutes of cooking. Okay, and they're doing just fine. Make sure I keep my pasta stirred. It's cooking just fine. The meat is cooking, and we'll be turning it in about 3.5 minutes. Well, as you can see, everything's coming along just fine. I did start a second timer, and this is a countdown timer to remind me when to flip my chicken over. All right, check these again. By the way, we're at 21 minutes. That went in just a little bit easier there too. Still, they need just a moment more. And that's just the way Brussels are, okay? Sometimes they're gonna cook in, 20 minutes, 15, whatever. But remember, these took 5 minutes to come up to temperature, all right? And then after that, we had to get them steaming. So they're doing just fine, and in a moment I'm going to drain off what little water is left in there, and then we're going to heat a pan and get those ready to pan sear. And my pasta, I need to check it. I tried it at 21 minutes. It's still too firm. There we go. Just perfect. Drain the pasta. And we'll get it back on the stove and toss it with just a little bit of olive oil. I have a minute and a half left on my chicken breasts. I'm going to take this off of that burner and drain. There we go. And we'll leave that sitting open for those to kind of dry off a little bit. There's a lot of heat there, and I don't need the excess moisture on the outside of these. So with them drying off, that'll be perfect. I need to heat a pan for these to cook up in. I am heating my pan up right here. I've just now got the flame under it. These are still drying. 25 minutes on my timer, and it is time for me to get my chicken and bring it in. So you see how things are kind of just timing out here. Alrighty, I have my chicken in from the grill here, and this pan is busy heating. Let's test the pan. The way we test it, get a little water in there. Is that water dancing around and just rolling, or did it sizzle off? No, it's dancing around, see that? And that's what we need. If you're gonna do pan searing, you need that kind of heat. So always make sure there's no excess water left in there when you put your oil in, or you can get spattering, okay? And we may get some off of these Brussels anyway. Go ahead and get some oil in here. This is where we make our magic. The flavors we get by doing this one thing are absolutely tremendous. So what we get here is this caramelization on the outside of what we've already tenderized and made beautiful and wonderful. We need a little bit of seasoning. I'm going to start with some salt right now. Doesn't take a whole lot. Next, I'll be putting on some garlic powder and onion powder, but I do that right at the end of the cooking. They both burn easily when you cook with this application. So use it at the end of the cook, okay? Not in the middle of it. Okay, back over here, have another pan. This is gonna be for our chicken. Now, I've already got the chicken cooked, yes, but we're gonna do a combination with the chicken and the pasta and the pesto sauce. And that is what gives us that beautiful harmony of flavor. So I'm gonna cut my chicken right now. I want to do something to make my life a little bit easier. Put on a glove, because these things can be rather hot. And all I'm looking to do is just slice this and do some cross cuts. There. Put that over. All right, let's take a look at these. Oh yeah, there we go. We have deep searing there. These are about ready, okay? Now I'm gonna heat my other pan. Now I've come to the end of the cook on these, and I've got them on a lower heat now. I'm gonna get a little bit of my seasoning on there. Oh yeah. And just get them rolled in that. Hit it with a little olive oil. There we go. All I have to do is let my residual heat do what it does right here. Okay? I have this pan heating. As soon as it is hot, we're going to have this meal finished up. As far as quantities, as you've seen today, I didn't measure anything out. This is sort of just kind of cooked from the hip, folks. Now you're going to want a cut of meat for each person, and I'm using 8 ounces of penne pasta, which is enough for about 3 people. So really, I've got a meal for 3 here. And the same way on these Brussels, you want to figure how many Brussels do you want to eat yourself. Would it be 4? Would it be 6? Figure about 6 Brussels per person, roughly. And that's what you're going to have for a good serving. And as far as the pasta and how much pesto, that's to taste, okay? You're going to put some in there and you're going to toss it and taste it. And if you want more, go with more. As far as those seasonings, a light dusting is all it takes, as you saw. Folks, let's take a look at the end of this product. It's delicious. Now we have the very last thing of all, which is the pan that's already heated. I need to get a little bit of oil in this. There we go. Delicious. Now in a moment, I'm just going to start putting this in spoonfuls, all right? And we'll stir it in along with the pasta. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm losing a pasta here or there, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. There we go. Oh boy. Now this has a gorgeous aroma, let me tell you. If you like the smell of basil, this one's really going to do it for you. Yummy. There we are. Now this is also the kind of thing, folks, if you want to make it a one-plate thing and put those Brussels in there, you can go ahead and do that. You feel free to. You can keep the two separate and have just a dish with a side dish. Make this however you'd like for you and your family, okay? Alrighty, now it's time to get this plated up to enjoy. This is absolutely delightful. One of my favorites, as I mentioned earlier, I used to do this a lot. These beautiful, these Brussels, even though they may look a little bit dark in spots, don't let that bother you, folks. That pan searing sets off the flavor of a Brussels like nobody's business. And when they've been pre-cooked like this, it's all the better, okay? So there we have it. That is a simple, easy weeknight meal right there, folks. There we have plenty of food on an easy weeknight meal. Ladies and gentlemen, well, hold it. I promised you one thing. The fork, cutting through the Brussels sideways, splitting it perfect and even. Easy. Man, when they're cooked right, they are so good. All right. Now there it is. Easy, easy weeknight meal. This one, definitely worth your time. When your family digs in on this, they're going to be surprised that Brussels actually can taste good. Pesto sauce is delicious. Chicken's fantastic. If you don't have a grill to grill it, then use a broiler, okay? But try this recipe. Please. Also, try my recipes. Try my website. Right down in the description box, S.A.Trotter.com. My recipes are right there, folks. And thank you much for watching this. Enjoy and have a good evening. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah.